right there. Now let's talk about what Stephen A. Smith is talking about. He said he could be next, and he said he wasn't happy that Max Kellerman was gone. All right, so he got specific on the ESPN layoffs on the Stephen A. Smith show, stating he was not among those who assumed his job was safe. He said, this ain't the end. More is coming. Talking about the layoffs. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I could be next. Let me tell you all something. Don't ever in your life as a black person take anything for granted. I told you before, when white folks catch a cold, black folks catch pneumonia. The one thing I could tell you about Stephen A., this ain't 2009. I really didn't see it coming. My eyes are always wide open now. I'm never comfortable. I never take anything for granted, and I never assume that I'm safe. Okay, he said a whole lot right there. And y'all know I wanted to stop down a couple times about what he talking about right here. But I'ma wait. I'ma get it all out, and then we gonna talk. So Smith went on to blame the layoffs on COVID-19 and the revenue lost by Disney having to close its theme parks at the height of the pandemic. Makes ton of sense, right? Right? According to Smith, it's a numbers game, unlike in 2009 when he was fired by ESPN and not laid off. They were let go because of cuts. I was fired, he said. And when I was fired, I was damn near blackballed because the message was sent, this is not somebody you want to work with. I didn't know if I'd ever have a career again. All facts, all true. All right, so he also got some unjust, let me say it again, unjust criticism on social media from y'all over the weekend for his big salary at ESPN and the latest wave of layoffs. He makes $12 million a year and his contract expires in 2025. He's like, let me address something to some of the haters out there about me. Y'all can kiss my ass twice. And I'm talking directly to the people in the industry who sat up there and said, why isn't Stephen A. gone? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a few people at ESPN getting paid more than me. They don't have a #1 show. They don't have top ratings. They don't generate more revenue. And by the way, none of them are black. How come you didn't bring their names up? I wonder why. I'm talking to those folks, the critics and media, or the wannabe media with the blogosphere and the websites. Damn, I could stop down here again, but let's get through it. So he also promoted a clip talking about Max Kellerman. And because everybody was saying, why didn't you mention Max when you were talking about everybody who left and that you were going to miss and giving them all the props? Noticeably absent was Max Kellerman. But then he addressed it, right? He said, I'm even going to miss Max Kellerman. I know y'all thought I wouldn't. I'm not happy that he's gone. We all know what history we had. We all know what happened with he and I parting ways on First Take. I don't want the brother unemployed. I want him gainfully employed. I want him having a job and a career. And that brother knows his boxing inside and out, is smart as a whip, and has been around a long time. I wish him no ill will. And matter of fact, although I sincerely doubt he ever will, if he ever called me needing my help, I would not hesitate to help him. Okay, let's talk now. Boy, I wanted to stop down 18,000 times, but I was like, let me let Stephen A. go. Because when I talk about people I know and I love, and people always say, damn, how you get away with it, Wiley? Or you always do it, and it doesn't seem like you got beef like that. It's because I'm talking about the act, not the actor. I don't talk about the person, right? I'm talking about the action. So with that said, let's talk about these acts right here. I'm not a fan of identity politics, never have been, never will be, never see the positive of it. So when I see Stephen A. Smith start off the conversation talking about, hey, a black person shouldn't take anything for granted. Last time I checked, no person should take anything for granted. Because last time I checked, more white people got released, fired, not rehired than black people in this latest round of ESPN layoffs. So right then already you're on uneven ground when you're going there. I don't like that lean, like brothers got to stay paranoid. I think that's a victim mentality. I think that's a slave mindset. Why? Because you always got to be paranoid more so than anybody else because you're black. Well, what do they say? What a man thinketh, so is he. If you're thinking like that, then damn it, that may be your reality because that's all you're going to do is pick out those moments. It's called selective perception, one of the psychological terms that I studied and learned about in my studies of psychology and sociology. Do not become a victim of that. Do not think that this world gives a damn so much about you that everything negative is intended just for you. Oh, trust me, negativity is spread around. Another thing that's interesting about this is that talking about this globally, this is a classic case of the ends justify the means, because his show is number one, right? And so moving off of Max Kellerman, it worked. It was actually the smart play, right? But it's the difference. I want people to catch this. When you're in a football game and you fumble, I used to play running back, you fumble the ball and y'all win the game, people forget about that fumbling a little bit, right? Or you fumble the ball and y'all lose the game. They never forget about that fumble. But to the running back, it's the same fumble. But the consequences, the results is what changes and colors how we think about the same exact thing. You guys got to dive deeper into those type of perceptions and separate them from realities. Another point that was interesting is that we're talking at the end when he was saying a lot of people make more money than Stephen A. Smith. And I think those names are Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, and Pat McAfee now, right? And it's not fair for critics to point at money cats, including Stephen A. Y'all wrong for that. They got to invest in their future if you're Disney and ESPN. That's just the way the game goes, right? But it's also not fair for Stephen A. Smith to point out that they're white, because just a few months ago, let's go, not even a year ago, who was the highest paid employee at ESPN? ESPN's own Stephen A. Smith, who last time I checked was black. Now, why does that matter? Because according to him, ESPN was coming out their most uncertain times in recent history after COVID-19, after shutting down theme park after theme park. And in that moment, who's making the most money is a black man. Do y'all see how this goes? Let's get out of the identity politics. They supported ESPN to be the top dog, and just in the last year, 12 months, did he get surpassed. But if he re-ups in 2025, I would just take a bet that Stephen A. Smith will be number one again. So what do you guys think about all of this? Do you think ESPN would really consider ever letting go of Stephen A. Smith? I'm not talking about the whole, like, anything's possible. I'm talking about for real. Would they let him go? And do you also think he was genuine about him and Max? The only thing that made me say, is he like, yo, if he really needs my help, I'm here. Oh man, if I got homie, look, if you don't come to me, about do you need my help versus I got to come to you needing your help, that always made me wonder, like, dog, how much you really want to help me? Interesting to see what we're going to talk about in these comments on this story later. But love to both of them guys, all them people over there. But make sure, let's talk about the act, not the actor.